Welcome back to Curious Village HD. So yeah, now that we've officially unmasked Don Paolo for the first time chronologically in this series, let's put the doggy a bit more put together, and there you go, almost
It's
done.
only one piece missing. Anyway, like I was mentioning in the previous part, Don Paolo actually...
Oh, wait. The dog says hi. So would that mean it's
the dog looks high.
So basically what you mean, Professor, is, hey everybody, I'm on my way.
No.
Oops.
Well, don't you look surprised? I bet you didn't expect to see you this week, eh?
Let me know when you're at 40.
The river that encircles most of St. Mystere.
We already passed 40 seconds.
What time are you at?
Any ideas? You can't cross it.
Go to 130.
Alright.
Give up on these ridiculous notions of returning to the rest of the world and settle down here.
You have problems, sir.
I suppose it's a tough transition to make. It's a puzzle to help get you situated. You'll be living with my friends, cat, mice, and mouse.
Alright, where are you, Deji?
130.
Okay, hold on, I'll give you 15 seconds. In preparation for your big move, you package your belongings into 20 boxes and arrange them as shown below. With everything packed, you are now ready to move each box with its content. In order to do so, you'll need to move a few boxes around. How many of the boxes can't be labeled without rearranging the stacks? On the Deji and click. Fun fact, this puzzle is kind of very similar to the puzzles that Aristotle gives us in Sonic 06. So, you know, because, so yeah, it is very much akin to Aristo's box puzzle in that side quest. So, how many boxes? So yeah, the idea is exactly that. How many of the boxes can't be labeled without rearranging the stacks?
How many boxes can you see? How many boxes are on me? But whatever.
How many boxes? Please help me.
How many boxes? 1, 2, 3.
No, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let's check a
6,
hint.
7, 8. I can't see the boxes.
14 boxes are visible in the illustration. You have to use what you can see to visualize where the hidden boxes are. You can clearly see all the boxes in the top 2 levels of the pile, so you only need to worry about the 2 layers of boxes closest to the ground. That is true.
What if I can see it?
I mean, of course we can.
Somebody get Hubert to help us out with this.
That's the thing, Java. We probably wouldn't understand what he says about it.
Just get a translator like in Pixels.
Actually, that's a good question. Who owns the Hubert IP nowadays?
I think it's public domain at this point too.
Quite right.
A video game franchise being public domain, that's something you don't hear of every day. And yes, there are some obvious ones.
Well done.
Thanks, Dashin.
I like the way you get wired up over puzzles. My kind of man. So hurry up and get settled. St. Mystere is happy to have you.
Fucking dumbass.
Something wrong, Deji?
I wasn't paying attention. I was like, wait a minute, something's wrong. I'll say it in both.
He's broken.
Let me know where you're at 401.
Okay.
Okay.
And that cat is still tormenting that mouse.
Yep.
Probably getting revenge for Tom and Jerry.
Alright. And on and click. Anyway, moving on. To the tower. Yes, Jova's phone. Don't worry, we're going now.
It's a long way there, though.
It's a dead end. No 2 ways about it. Maybe there's another path to the tower hidden around here.
Could climb it.
Already suggested that.
I'd argue that we've come to exactly the right spot, Luke.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, we've come to the right spot. Did you not understand me?
I think he wanted to be more specific, Layton.
Look right here. Luke, right here, Luke. There's a small indentation in the wall. Could place a small object.
Look at me, Professor. Oh, so this must be...
The keyhole.
Alright, Layton, point the key towards it and a beam of light should open it. Don't worry.
Yes, this curious indentation is no doubt the spot located in Baron Reinhold's.
Sorry.
Whatever. I'm willing to wager if we put this in here, gave it a turn.
So there you go. That's also what that note was. It was indicating specifically where the keyhole was.
Rather, if you did it, Luke.
Jesus.
Yeah.
There you go.
That would happen.
Wow! All from one tiny little key.
Just as I suspected. Alright, Luke. Go.
Alright, Theo, get ready.
Obviously.
Chapter 9, the final chapter, the Tower Secret. A path to the tower has been found. Scale the tower and solve all of the mysteries of Saint Mystere. And we actually just solved one right now, actually.
The key.
And these puzzles were sent to Granny Riddleton. 4 of them, which happens very well because we need 4 more puzzles before we can climb that tower. So we can go back to Granny's and solve them. Well, it gives me the ability to actually show what he says, because I didn't do that in the original playthrough anyway, so... Path opens, and that's it, really. Okay.
Damn it, I really need to keep better track of this diary. The journal.
Diary, journal.
Well, I feel like Doug. Diary, journal.
Theo?
I suppose congratulations are in order. You made it this far after all. Of course, it looks like you left quite a few of my puzzles in the village untouched.
What's this? It
Like I
turns
give a
out
shit.
someone in particular was leaving all these puzzles. Well, what was that? Where's that voice coming from?
A talloy.
I've hidden all sorts of wonderful puzzles across Saint Mystere.
To
So
distract you, I mean, to give you a...
Go back to the village, traveler, and test your mettle against a few more of my puzzles. I'm not so unreasonable that I'd make you solve every single puzzle before passing through here, even though I should. But you're sorely mistaken if you think I'll let you through with less than 75 puzzles to your name.
Could just break your door down.
Come back when you got the goods. Chop
But
chop.
Professor, that wouldn't be much like a gentleman now, would it?
Well, a gentleman wouldn't leave someone trapped in the tower either.
True, that's a good point. Phoenix Wright actually did knock down a pair of doors when he thought his assistant was in danger.
I can't quite place it. Regardless, it seems that mystery will have to wait. If you don't solve 75 puzzles first, but said that you could just break the door down, we'll never make it inside the tower. Let's go back to the village.
That depends, though, Layton. Are you
Alright,
strong
so...
enough to knock it down?
Let's check out these...
I don't even need my own brute strength. I can just get like a gun or something and blow the lock.
But where will we get a gun from?
An odd
The
sandwich.
gun shop.
Using
Does
left...
this place even have a gun shop? Oh, go on.
Using leftovers from your breakfast, you've managed to cobble together a rather oddly shaped sandwich. How many times must you cut the sandwich in order to make it fit neatly into the container?
I wonder if it...
Oh no, I've got the answer for it.
Go ahead.
None, because I'd rather eat the sandwich first.
I wonder if in the
Well, that would be more like Shiroi's answer. But,
I wonder if in the original
Actually-
Japanese version it was actually a bento box that you had to actually assemble.
Actually, Pedro, going off of the crossover, that would be Shore's answer and Maya's answer.
well, yeah.
Yeah, well, I thought Maya would eat a burger first and a sandwich.
Well, no,
A burger
but
is a type
I
of
would
sandwich.
also eat a burger before a sandwich.
Okay,
there you go, see?
guys, you're missing something. A burger
High
is literally...
five!
Yay!
A burger is literally a type of sandwich.
But it's
So-
a better sandwich, Jova. That's the point.
a better
Oh,
sandwich.
actually-
Sure.
Hold on. I agree this. Have you thought of turning the sandwich to get a fresh perspective on the puzzle? It may sound slightly ridiculous, but if you do it right, you might be surprised at how everything comes together. So there you go, Shiro. Have you ever thought of turning your sandwiches over?
I've thought
I've
of
already
cutting
told
them in
you
a better
you-
way.
But I've already told you. Why would you need to put the sandwich in the container when you could just eat it?
Maybe this is the sinner's sandwich from Deadly Premonition.
But yeah,
I've seen people try that, by the way. They weren't fans.
but yeah, sure. I kid you not, though. I totally agree with you, though, that cheeseburgers are definitely a much better.
Joey,
type
you're
of
the type
sandwich
of
than
person
just
that thinks
potato
water
sandwich.
is wet.
Thanks for that,
It is
Deds. So basically, I think in common sense. Thanks, that's a good compliment.
This puzzle's a snap once you see how the sandwich...
There are plenty of flat earthers all around the globe.
The globe?
No duh.
I think you mean the globe.
You see, he can't even say globe right.
The lazy
There is
guard.
no globe.
So let's talk about the lazy guard. The local museum has an exhibit that spans 9 rooms, as shown in the diagram below. The entrance to the complex is marked A, and the exit is marked B. The security guard on duty is a bit lazy. It wants to walk each room of the exhibit while turning as few times as possible. What is the fewest number of turns he can make while still visiting every room?
One lazy security guard.
Yes.
Good security you got over there in
the kinds of puzzles you see in brain-teasing magazines are the kinds of puzzles where they of course take these out. This guard is lazy, therefore he only does stuff like this. It's one of those things where the writer wants you to just focus on the logic and the internal logic of the puzzle itself rather than the realism of the situation itself. That's just being used as a vehicle for the puzzle itself, basically. What is the fewest number of turns you can make while still visiting every room? 2.
Luke, here's my answer.
There you go.
Yes, I win.
Let's take a look. That's right. If the security guard takes a path like the one shown above, he can finish his patrol of all 9 rooms in just 2 turns. This is to be influenced by the fact that the example path shows the guard turning right angles and go from room to room, but you don't need to follow that example.
Okay. To paraphrase, I'm just gonna say this though. For a guy who's lazy, he works very hard to be lazy.
Yes, he's very dedicated to his laziness.
You gotta love.
Sometimes, if you're sitting down comfortably and you drop your remote, you want to do everything you can, and then it's because you don't want to lose that sweet, comfortable part. So you'll just get up. You'll just try to struggle, get up.
So basically, Dej, what you're saying is like, well, that kind of person would spend more time developing a robot hand to pick it up rather than just pick it up.
It looks like someone has been writing nonsense on the blackboard again. It turns out, though, that under certain conditions, these strange equations are actually correct. 8 minus 6 equals 2. 8 plus 6 equals 2. Assuming the above to be true, what does 7 plus 6 equal?
Okay, so here's the thing. If it's negative 6 plus 8, then it will be 2.
True.
Yes.
The problem is that... Go ahead.
Go on.
No, you go.
This is, if anything, this is reminding of the stupid movement that came out, I think, last year, of people finding complicated way to demonstrate that 2 plus 2 can mean 5.
Well, you forget about that Fairly Odd Parents episode.
Hint.
No, there were actual people in real life that dedicated to such stupidity.
At first, it might look like whoever wrote this on the board was just terrible at math. But on the truth, that is just about everyone does calculations like these. Even you probably do it just about every day.
PEMDAS is the answer. PEMDAS.
8 minus 6 does, of course, equals 2. But under what conditions does adding 6 to 8 equals 2? Here's a hint. When you do calculations like this, you probably use a commonplace item that many people have on hand.
Woe be to anyone who doesn't know what commonplace
Hands
means
up,
in terms of mathematics.
Well, it says a commonplace item, so I don't know too.
Okay, it's more of a tool than an actual item, but I do believe it fits.
6 plus 6? Sorry, 7 plus 6 equals 1. So what exactly does this mean?
Critical thinking is the key to success.
You are correct. This puzzle is using time as a framework for the calculations. If you take 6 hours away from 8 a.m., the time becomes 2 a.m.
God!
Move it ahead 6 hours from 8 a.m. and the time becomes 2 p.m. Therefore, if you add
That's
6 hours to
cheating.
7 a.m.
Come on now.
Well,
Reggie, again, this is why I don't play these games.
well, the hint.
We already told you. We told you at the beginning that this game is full of ramp of that kind of thing.
The hints. The third hint gives you an even clearer picture where it becomes fairly easy to guess that it's talking about a clock, basically. Anyway, a 2.5 deep water tank has water poured into it for 8 hours, starting at 9 a.m. The water level rises by 60 centimeters in this time. However, it seems that water is leaking out again at night, because the next morning the water level has dropped by 20 centimeters. If the water level continues to rise 40 centimeters a day in this way, on what day will the tank first overflow? So it's 2.5 meters deep. And we poured it into it for 8 hours starting at 9 a.m. and the water level rises by 60 centimeters in this time. So it takes 8 hours to reach 60 centimeters.
But then it drops by night. Mind you, the trick in this, I'm gonna explain it right now, is asking at what point overflows. So you don't have to calculate for that specific day the 20 centimeter discharge. So let's see. 4.
Think carefully.
All right.
I wager around 6 days.
Okay. If I remember correctly, yeah. There we go. Let's take a hint. The total rise in water level each day is 40 centimeters, just as the puzzle says. But if you think about it, isn't there an important point missing? Yes, you're on the right track now.
You can't read my mind game.
Can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, you're not my mom.
Have I missed something?
Don't worry.
Just a bit of Freudian.
The game thinks it's the boss of us.
Alright, 6. Very good, Teo.
Okay, this is turning simple math. 40 centimeters times 5 equals 2 meters, so, and then 60 added onto it.
That's right, the answer is the 6th day. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that because the water level rises by 40 centimeters each day, if it will have risen to 2.4 meters up by the 6th day, and therefore will overflow on the 7th day. However, on the 6th day, the water level actually starts at 200 centimeters and rises by 60 centimeters over the course of the day, overflowing the tank. And that frog on the left
doesn't give a fuck.
Alright, the violin will go to Layton, since he's good with classic music.
Thank you very much, Luke. I'll have the violin.
And there you go, we have officially solved 75 puzzles, so now we can enter the tower.
Oh, sorry, I was wrong. I said you have to solve 170.
That would be a problem because there's only 144 puzzles in this game.
With that kind of logic of, you know, imposing new barriers on that kind of front, I suggested to play There Is No Game.
Gosh.
It's pretty neat on that front. You have to think outside the box multiple times.
Really? What's
Yes.
that game all about?
It's a sort of a meta kind of game, as the name implies, where you actually need to find the actual game, but in the process it's basically a point and click that evolves. Anyway.
And then it turns out that finding the game was the game all along.
Pretty much. Well, it looks like you solved at least 75 puzzles. Alright then, go on in the tower. I don't care.
It's not a hatchet murderer in there, is there?
Fine.
This place gives me goosebumps.
Oh, not the heebie-jeebies, Luca. Come on.
Plus, it's all murky in here. And
Remember
I can't see a
Shank.
Remember, Teo, this game was localized by Nintendo of America.
Oh my!
Yeah, exactly.
Works every time.
If this game had been if Richard was the one localizing this game originally, Teo, I'm pretty sure he would have used the heebie-jeebies bit. So.
My
What's wrong
head.
with heebie-jeebies?
Oh, no, we're not saying it's wrong. It's just that
Are you alright, my boy? No injuries, I hope.
we're referencing
a
something
shot,
from the Nino
Professor.
Kuni series, Deji. That's all you need to know. Go ahead, Jova.
Don't worry, Professor. I'm fine, despite
Oh,
everything.
Luke.
And
I don't
yourself?
think I don't think my injury will be covered by my insurance. Nothing a good long bath later won't solve, but more importantly...
Well, yes, of course. A good long bath
Oh,
with
look!
some special super healing water.
That symbol on one of the machines, it looks like the cogs we've seen.
This room is full of curious machines. What do you suppose they do?
Machine stuff.
Curious machine stuff?
No
What in
machine.
the world? Look over there on the wall, Professor. All work and no play.
My word!
Slaughter a very dull girl.
What the hell?
Pictures of the villagers displayed here. Almost like a
Except
checklist.
Simon.
Mm-hmm.
And what's this? There's a key for almost every villager. Almost like they could get into their houses and murder them. What if somebody's using this place to keep an eye on what's going on inside Mystere?
Wow, Big Brother really took a budget increase.
So it would seem. Look, there are stairs over there. Let's get out of here. This place gives me the
Oh,
shivers.
come now, Luke. We've only just got here.
Yes, after literally falling to what seemed to be our doom originally.
Yes, you're quite right, Luke. Let's break character and head out.
Well, to be fair, it's not like there's much here that they can do.
Well, we can at least look at something. I thought it was called the Curious Village.
Oh,
The village
what's
where we
this
run away.
notebook? We had to run away from a Ferris wheel.
Did you find something interesting, even though we said we were going to head out?
I think so. This notebook looks like somebody's been using it as a diary.
I'm surprised my name wasn't Professor
Just a
Procrastinator.
little longer. Now, soon this village will achieve the purpose it was designed for.
Kingdom Hearts.
No.
I waited so long for this day, but as it comes closer, I feel a little lonely.
Aha, so the baby.
I'm about to get laid. What?
I hope
I'm
that,
sorry.
at the very least, the young mistress finally finds happiness at the end of all of this.
Oh, maybe he is about to get laid, Dej. This poor diary looks like it's been through a lot. All the pages are terribly frayed.
You feel
But
sorry for an inanimate
The final
object?
note on the page repeats the
Look,
words become as
well,
God multiple
Layton,
times.
Layton, Luke is a very sensitive boy. Come on.
I bet all the scraps of paper we found in the village came from here. It really is on some reports.
Well, I guess we found the diary of those scraps of paper that we've been finding. So
Legit
yes,
question,
okay.
legit question. Dweb's obviously a
there you go,
solid
Dwebs. Now we
show,
leave.
but-
See?
Whoa!
What's this?
Blocks your path.
T-pose for dominance.
You.
You!
Yep. Finally found him.
Master
You
Kill.
two again.
Yes?
What are you doing here? What are you up to?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have
I'm
found.
the one who let us in.
You
And
told us we could come in here, you moron.
you also notice
Just
it.
a moment, sir. What are you talking about?
You also notice that his name is Bruno, and there you go, already. We found Bruno.
I knew it. You came here to steal my secrets, didn't you?
You let
we
us
had the
in.
requirement to
Didn't
open
you?
the door.
I'm guessing he's.
Say.
I'm guessing he has a
Don't play
flu.
dumb with me. I see right through you. Don't think I haven't been watching.
I'm.
Apparently
No, it
not
really is Big
enough.
Brother.
I am Bruno. I am the big brother of Saint Mystere.
I see you two sniffing around every nook and cranny in the village, obstructing my work.
You're the one that left your work everywhere, you moron.
Well, I'm trying my best still.
Now I had it, so unless you want trouble, give me back your number 38.
Number 38.
Please calm yourself, sir. Just listen what we have to say for it.
I think he's gone a bit senile if he forgets he let
Haven't
us in.
intended to get in the way of your work. We are merely searching for the golden apple.
We fell through the roof, sir.
Neither of us know anything about this number 38 business.
Did you just say the golden apple? You really are here looking for the golden apple then?
Yes, that's what I just said.
Don't worry, you'll see we'll see he means in a moment.
Precisely. Do you know anything that could be of help to us? Anything at all?
So that's how it is, eh?
The day has finally come.
What you're looking for is on the top floor of the tower.
Of course it is.
Well, it won't be much fun if we found it in the bottom floor.
But
So
watch out, because the puzzles in these towers are harder than a diamond-tipped drill.
And I know the executive producer said getting my salary would be a challenge, but I didn't think it'd be this.
I know they call you a puzzle master, but are you sure you have what
yes,
it takes to solve them?
Professor Herschel Tago.
Now, why would you go and tell us something like that? We face death. We can handle this. I bet you just want to set us up and walk right into some sort of trap.
Not an unfounded suspicion.
What would I possibly gain from doing something like that, aside from
Lols.
amusement?
Yeah, lols.
For the
It's pretty
lols.
cool.
Not to mention, it's my duty to guide those who seek the golden apple towards their goal.
Wait. So you literally help people towards their goal. Why does that sound too good to be true?
Some mischief makers sneaked into the village and had me all confused, but I think I'm working
So there you go. Don Paolo's unexpected presence confused Bruno. He was.
Seeing as how it's your duty and all that, would you mind filling us in? What is St. Myster's big secret?
Alright.
Oh boy, here we go.
The name is Bruno Mattei.
James Bruno.
I work for the Reinhold family.
Of course.
For some time now, I managed St. Myster from out here in the tower.
Exactly.
Manage St. Myster. You're the one who manages the life of each of the villagers, aren't you?
Oh, got a bit ahead of ourselves there, did we, Layton? What in the world are you two talking about?
Shush, look, the adults are
villagers.
talking.
The villagers have no life. Surely you must have seen
Kinda.
them.
So it is true, Dibs. They're Big Brother contestants. Booyah!
Yeah. Do you recall the
Ooh,
cogs
them
we found
spiced
around the village and the
words.
keys we just saw?
So yeah.
All the villagers in St. Myster are robots created by Bruno.
Okay, believe it or not, folks, this is the tamest of all the plot twists in the Layton series.
And even
I
then-
do not even exaggerate. And you know, I'll give it credit. This is the one that I do feel is the most well built up towards
In other
of the
words,
Layton series as
inhabitants of
well.
St. Myster aren't human, but intricately constructed machines.
It's not even just that, Joe. But like, let's remember, this was the first game that was ever made. So let's, for a moment, forget the other games. Let's go back to 2008 when this game was the only one.
Everyone's a robot?
I'm
Yes.
astonished that anyone
Yes.
built such elaborate machines in the day and age.
Yes, Dad. Yes, if you didn't already know.
Thanks, Todd.
Anyway, you're saying,
But
Pedro?
that's the thing. That's the thing, Joe. But like, let's just take for a moment and just judge the story like on its own, like how well built up the answer is. The game has been meticulously foreshadowing this through various means. So
like I said-
if you take an objective look at the story and see how well everything lines up, technically the story does add up. As in, like everything that we've been seeing up until this point leads to this in a logical way. Basically, that's the inner logic of the story itself. Of course, it's unrealistic, it's silly, you can say that, but on its own inner logic, it works. That's the basic point that I'm trying to make.
When it comes to Layton Mysteries, definitely the best ones that work in being logically sound are this one and Miracle Masks. Miracle Mask has its own thing, but yeah. I have not made it any secret that while I do love the Layton series, one of my issues has always been how some of the twists do not really work when you think about it. This is thankfully not one of them, and like I said,
That's
this
another
is,
cool
to me,
thing.
definitely-
Sorry, I thought you were
This
finished.
is
Go ahead.
definitely I would argue that this is still to this day the best built up of the Layton Mysteries overall.
That's another big improvement that the Lady Layton era brought upon by toning down the mysteries to more small scale mysteries, a case by day thing. It allowed itself to go back to this type of thing, because the mysteries in the Lady Layton era are of a simpler nature, but as a result, they actually are worked out better. Go ahead.
Like I said before, I think Layton Twist would work a lot better if the world wasn't so arbitrarily skeptical, i.e. characters saying, oh, this sort of supernatural stuff couldn't work, except when you think about it, it would make more sense if this was just supernatural. And again, we literally have seen our heroes be revived from death here. At this point, as far as I'm concerned, magic very well does exist in this world. You don't get a boy who can just talk to animals out from nothing here and there. Like, again, yeah, I do feel like a lot of Layton Twist would be a lot better if they didn't try to supposedly make it like, oh no, there was no magic all around, just these convenient machines or this hallucinogen here and there. Like, I mean, now let me say this. I still do like Diabolical Box and Lost Future, but that is in spite of their mysteries, I feel, not being as great as they could have been.
My favorite, my favorite Layton story is still Last Spectre. That's my favorite.
Is it?
It's my favorite.
Yeah, I thought it was Diabolical Box. Didn't you say at some point that it was?
That would be mine, actually.
Okay.
Okay, I'll put it this way. I like that's my favorite one, but in terms of story execution and the twists, my least favorite one out of the main series is still Azran Legacy.
Sure.
Really? Well, that's what Legacy I feel didn't. Oh,
because of the Emmy thing, Jove, and I have to agree. Yeah.
It was.
The thing is, I like all the twists, but they come way too.
Actually, guys, I
one at a time.
I won't go too much into it, but it's not just the Emmy thing.
Sure.
I think I do get what Shuri was getting at, though. It is also how all those plot twists literally dogpile you at the end.
Yeah,
like
I don't have a problem with any of them, but there's no room for you to breathe or think about them between them happening.
It's like Akira Hiro suddenly became J.J. Abrams.
Honestly, I never have a problem with pretty much. I think I didn't made a secret at some point, but whatever. Regardless, I didn't really have a problem with pretty much any of them, aside from the one that we haven't seen yet. But
no, none of them.
Strictly from that, what Jova point kind of baffles me on that front is the fact that when you get down to it, the twisting itself is not like he's imposing realism. But it's instead presenting an alternative to what it's not one type of supernatural, it's just another, That's the thing that I don't think I get when it comes to not liking this kind of twist, but whatever.
No, and don't get me wrong, like to reference what Deji was saying, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like if you find the Layton formula silly and way too out there for you, that's perfectly fine. It's of course in the I will still say that Ted grossly over exaggerates this because you can still find his review of Kira's Village that he made all the way back in the day, way before Brain Scratch was a thing, even because he actually had a channel even before that. You can go back and check his earliest videos, and he hates this because it's the only Layton game he's played aside from the crossover, and he hates this game with a seething hatred that I find quite really, of all the games, this is the one that it's
the first one he played, so first impressions matter, like I said earlier.
I get that, Deji, but even if you dislike this game, the way he goes about it, he acts like this game is it's like this game killed his puppy or something.
Yeah. Anyway,
are we still recording?
Akira Hiro poisoned my water supply.
Anyway, Tio, to address further your point about my thing with Layton Twist, I'll explain that more in a later thing. What I gave was more like the surface level version of it here and there. And like I said, it's not like they ruin Layton games for me in general. It's just that I have my reasons for feeling that Layton plot twists aren't the best always.
Yeah, I understand.
It feels like Hino is definitely focusing more on the spectacle of it than the logistics of the twist more than anything.
That's the thing about Hino. Hino always focuses more on the emotional aspect of the story, especially in the sequels. Not so much in this one, because this one is more about the mystery itself rather than having an emotional through line. But Hino always focuses a lot more of his time on the emotional through line of the story rather than the logistics. Which so. Like Jova said, we appreciate Lost Future, and Lost Future is still my favorite, despite, as Jova said, that one not being quite as tightly knit logically as, say, this game is. But Lost Future is so emotionally thrilling and satisfying that it really is one of those cases where if the game makes you emotionally invested, you're very likely to be able to forgive the logical flaws here and there. But again, not so much in this one, because this one goes more for mystery rather than emotion compared to the other ones.
And let me put it this. Well, I said that this is probably one of my favorite of the Layton mysteries. That doesn't necessarily make this my favorite of the Layton games. No.
Sure.
Still, my contenders for favorite are 4, 3, and 5 in terms of which is my favorite Layton game.
Sure. Deji, you're the newcomer. What do you think of all this stuff?
Well, I think the puzzles really hate children.
So now that you have context on what Ted has been saying, what do you think? What's your 2 cents on this?
You see, I can understand why he doesn't like it, but from what I'm seeing, I have fun. I'm having fun.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things that's basically it, Deji. And this is a thing with even all of Level 5's games. When Hino writes something, he's always focusing, his main priority when he writes something is entertainment value. Not so much, I'm not saying that he always tries, I'm not saying he never cares about logic. He does, especially in non-Layton games. This is mostly just a thing from the Layton series. His other stuff doesn't have this. But whenever he writes something, he always goes for emotional value and entertainment value first. And logic comes into second place for him, which I can understand because entertainment and emotional value is what gives a story its soul. So I mean, it's one of the big things what I said in our Lautrec commentary, because the mystery in Dr. Lautrec technically makes sense logically. It doesn't really have any logical flaws, but the game does such a poor job in making you care for the characters that it really becomes okay. It's logical, I guess, but like there's only so much logic can carry you through if the story itself is not interesting. I guess that's the best way I can put it.
It's always best to have a good balance. Now,
yeah, obviously,
ideally, everything would be top notch, but in the normal sense, as long as there is a good balance, you can still come out with a good game, I'd say.
Sure.
All right, so I guess we'll see you in the next part then.
See you, everybody.
Yeah.
See ya.